Okay. We are alive. We are talking.
Speak for yourself.
I will.
Wait, have you made a tweet?
I did. I put it out already.
Oh, is it on the old Twitter? On
On
the
the
old
old
Blue Sky
Twitter. On the old Twitter that has followers. I have a new Twitter that does not have
that has
followers.
none.
Yes. So we're just gonna use that one anyway for now. Let's see.
Okay. And you put it on Twitter, not Blue Sky.
Yeah, I put it on Twitter because you already made the thing on Blue Sky and I just
Okay, yeah,
retweeted it.
fair. I guess I could just do a thing and say it's starting now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Elast with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What does that actually mean? I don't know. Have no idea.
That goes to me. I will have to divvy that up and give it to you.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine.
No, I
Don't
give
worry.
it to you. I give it to you. Thank you for the gifted streams. Oh my gosh. Or gifted
Thank you.
beep 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 boop boop. And Avenge underscore with the prime. Wogue, hello. We're chilling. We're chilling. We need music for the pre-stream. What's a good song? Someone hit me with one.
We are the Crystal Gems.
You know what?
We
Crystal.
always save the day. And if you think I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't.
Oh my god, it's so
Steven
loud.
Universe Fear. Here we are.
There is text.
Starting now.
Wait, where's the text? Where's the text?
Right now.
Okay. I just had, and actually I'm canonically still eating because we're at our we decided that we're at German Fuddruckers, right?
I don't know what that means, but sure.
Okay. Asha, what's your apparently NeverPaint does not know any restaurants. What's your favorite restaurant? Just like in general, it doesn't have to be in Germany. Do you have a favorite restaurant?
I have a favorite fast food place.
Okay.
This Canadian chicken place called Mary Brown's.
Mary Brown's? Okay, that is where we are.
They got the best chicken sandwiches
I've
in the
never
game.
heard of this. I've never
Best chicken sandwich in town.
If I ever go to Canada, actually, which I am, which we are right now, here we go. Boom, we're at Mary Brown's today. Hello, everybody.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. I
Do
have
they
a chicken sandwich.
Other things than chicken?
French fries?
Yeah, they have, I think, vegan options.
Yay. I'll eat a vegan chicken that only had grass to eat.
That's perfect for me because I'm a deer and I don't eat meat. Except for I do, because deers can eat meat, which is crazy.
Oh god. Wait, they do?
I bring this up every time. Not to y'all, but I bring this up. There's like a video of this deer just eating a bird.
God.
just like a nugget, because it's like so small compared to the deer. Just like
It's like it looks plant-like.
That's kind of it just be looking at it with its little deer eyes and just goes down just like numb, and it's like no, it's like horrific.
Do you think like the animal world equivalent of a human eating dairy when they're literally lactose intolerant?
Kinda, except the milk isn't
like they're gonna regret it later.
That's true. Oh, you know what? I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna have to look into this. I'm gonna have to look into deers, like what they can actually eat. She showed me this in the middle of a coffee. Hi everybody. Hi Perfect Failure. Hi Max. Hi Vans. Hi Last. You wanted
Should we
me
like
to show
start?
You. We could start. We could start. We have the chat actually going this time, unlike last time. I did show them this video.
I mean, deer seem to be like the type of creatures who would eat anything.
Yeah, they're kind of like goat-ish, right?
Yeah,
Are they scavengers? They're just prey. Are prey scavengers?
sure.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
that's your chosen occupation.
To be prey?
No, a scavenger.
Oh, it's scavenger. Yeah, you're
Hello,
right.
everybody. Welcome to Sketchy After Work. We're back.
What
After work.
What
We
episode is
worked
this?
for over a month. It's episode 2.
Whoa, yeah, right after work on a Sunday because we don't sleep. Actually, that's not true. I finally don't work Sundays. It's crazy. It's a miracle. It's a Christmas
I
miracle.
worked all Sunday.
Did you? Jeez.
I did.
I see. That's why your tie's all
It's
messy.
called homework.
Oh,
Home office.
where'd you
And
do
it never
that?
ends. I have to do lots of things. Grading papers, emailing people,
I mean, where did you do the
lots of
homework?
things. Oh, at home.
Oh, whoa. What's been going on, gamers? What has been on the what is it? Yeah, y'all have been gone for a whole month. I have actually been gone for a whole month too, actually, because I started a new schedule and I had to relearn my whole life because I had to wake up in the morning now. It's crazy. I'm a morning deer again. It's insane.
Relearning my whole life has just been the theme of the past, 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, new job, new city, new apartment.
Yeah. New restaurant we eat out every 2 weeks consistently. Totally.
Yeah. Wait, before we get into it, should we maybe mention Sketch with us?
Oh, yes. Yes, we should mention Sketch with Us. We talked about it at the end of the episode last time, which may have been like hard to keep in mind. And also we took a bit of a break after last episode, but hashtag Sketch with Us is what you can use to send in stuff that you've been working on, whether it be drawing, sketching, 3D, music, whatever you feel like that you've been working on creatively. Please send it with hashtag Sketch
Athletic
with Us.
feats.
If you're making movies, I guess so, yeah. Something you can post and use a hashtag with, and we will talk about it at the end of each episode. And we do have a few entries for this episode, actually. Shout outs to people who we're going to talk about later. I'm not going to say their name just yet. I'm going to keep it a surprise.
How exciting.
Yay! Yee! Made it just in time.
Alright.
Hashtag sketch with us, yes. Post it on all the socials. Post it on your Insta, Blue Sky, Twitter. I'm always going to call it that. Wherever you're like doing
Does
it.
Instagram still have hashtags nowadays?
Yeah, you can still use it. Actually, I was about to ask you, is Reddit a good place to post things? Years later, I still don't use it.
But depends on what you want to post, really.
I guess we would have to have our own subreddit. I guess not. Never mind.
Oh, do
Or-
you mean like a link to this thing? Probably not, no.
Yeah. Never mind. Don't
Reddit
use
is very good for certain types of art to share, but I can talk about that more later.
Okay. Let's start. Where did we start last time? Who went first last time? Let's start with Asha. Asha, friend, how have you been? What have you been consuming other than that plate for the last month, apparently?
Well, recently I watched what has been out of Fiona and Cake.
Yo, oh, I pulled up the share screen.
The spin-off of Adventure Time.
This is Fiona. This is Cake. This is And.
That's and. Have you seen Fiona and Cake NeverPaint?
I have not.
Okay.
They have not seen enough Adventure Time to even attempt Fiona and Cake.
Okay, you say that, but I have seen the first season of Fiona and Cake, and I also have not watched all of Adventure Time.
Which is kind of wrong.
Is it? I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed season 1.
Seriously.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of stuff I don't get, but I also just I liked Ginger Bent, Finn and Jake a lot.
I mean, I do like the vibes of like AU version, like the AU world where it's like Fiona and Cake, but instead of it simply being gender bent, it's also like, what if they were in the real world? A bit more mundane. And seeing the interpretations of all these characters in like a world more closer to ours. Also, they could say swears now. Even more swear
Oh,
words.
wait, do they? Is there a swear counter?
I mean, they say crap, but like, I think most things just feels like there's once in a while just a thing that is like, oh, they could not do that on Adventure Time. Like blood, having characters cut things off, and also like cut limbs off.
Is that why Ice King
Give the
only?
middle finger.
Do they actually flip people off? That's actually great. That's
Yes, I
amazing.
can.
Wait, is the middle finger so culturally like insensitive that he couldn't do that on a children's show?
No,
No,
wait. You surprised by that?
Yes.
it's
You
pretty
couldn't.
rude in America to do that.
It's rude here too, but more like in a childish, like hee hee way.
Oh, it's rude in
Yeah,
like
but
a
you
I'm gonna
couldn't have it
fight
in a
you
kids show.
kind of way.
Oh.
Uh, do you think that's why they said, or Ice King said boing aloing so many times? Because he wanted to say something else, but he could only say boing aloing?
Yes.
Okay. I know some clips. I know a little bit of Adventure Time. Like, there's no way to not know a little bit. But do I have to watch all of Adventure Time to watch the next season of Fiona and Cake?
No, I think you can't get away with it if you're just like willing to
If you
be
don't tell
kind of
anyone about it.
confused.
Okay. I
If you
won't tell
don't let
nobody.
anyone know that this is what you're doing.
I won't let nobody know.
I mean, I think you can infer it. I mean, like Adventure Time was a bit ago enough that like I think the creators of the show are make it like explain enough that you can understand it even if you forgot about it. So you might be okay.
Okay. Question. I remember how season one of Fiona Cake finishes. Spoilers time. Spoilers talking about Fiona. Um, it
Mhm.
does leave it open ended. Does it do? Have you seen all of this season? Is it all out? Actually, I don't even know.
Uh, they're releasing the second season right now, so
Ooh.
not every episode's out.
Oh, okay. So we're still in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
The main thing I liked about it is like the background art, and as like somebody who's like getting more into drawing backgrounds, I really love Fiona's messy ass apartment.
uh, she is such a girl failure. It's great.
I
It's
love.
fantastic. There
Asha,
was
what have you been taking away from Adventure Time or like Fiona and Cake for your own like artsy things? Is there something that you can learn from it or
Are you drawing ship art?
get inspired by?
No,
Oh, I'm
I guess I should.
I
I should
love
try.
there's like these artists that I don't know anything about them. They're Korean, but they just be drawing the best Fiona and who is it?
Is it
Uh
Hunter?
yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's so
Yes.
good. It's so good. Makes me so happy. And it's just wholesome and them just being like I don't know. This probably isn't in the show, but it's them like being a couple and just messily in their pajamas hugging and it makes me happy.
No.
It's so cute. It's so good. It sounds like a good baking show. Oh, you're so right.
I guess it's a show you could watch while baking.
Fiona and Cake.
By being
Mm.
baked.
Oh yeah, is this good? Uh, Stoner? Surely, surely. Adventure Time, I feel like is perfect
Of
stoner like
course.
material.
Why you said it with so much confidence, Asha?
Fine.
You can just tell. You can just tell.
You
It's a vibe.
what do you think? It's Adventure Time. Come on, grab your friends. Your friends being marijuana.
Being a bag of gummies.
Mary und Jana.
Mary
Mariana.
Jane.
Let's see. So, okay. What's I like to I don't know if this should be a ongoing bit, but like is there any what is it? Mom I can explain. Like how much Mom I can explain meter is this from 1 to 10? Because I know we brought this up about
I forgot about that.
My Dress Up Darling last time.
When Panty and Stocking.
Oh yeah.
Mm. I guess there's a bit. Like
On a score from
stuff
1 to
involving butts.
10.
There's butts.
Yes.
It is
That's
HBO
terrifying.
Max or just Max now. I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's not too
Yeah.
bad.
Sharing the spotlight with like Game of Thrones.
If it's the same people who did like, well, I guess it's not the same people because I think the original person who made Fiona and Cake for the show was Natasha Allegri, who is the creator of Bee and Puppy Cat. But I don't think she's involved in the newer things, or at least I haven't looked into that. But if it's them, I know that they just like if you're doing a gender bent version of the characters, you just like to draw spicy stuff. Like you can just tell it's in the DNA of the art. It just that's probably why I like it. It just reminds me of the stuff I was browsing online. Like you can tell these people grew up drawing funny stuff on DeviantArt.
Oh yeah, this in the first season they have like another alternate dimension version of characters, including like the Ice King, and one of his like alt versions like was quite handsome, and I was just like, damn.
Oh, from the first season?
Yes.
I remember. I need to jump on this because like when season 1 was coming out, it was so good. Such a good time to be online looking at fan art. NeverPaint, are you gonna watch all of Adventure Time really quick on 2 times speed?
I fear that Adventure Time might be one of these shows that I'll never get around to.
So
It's a bit
sad.
too long. It's a bit too long for my like killed attention span.
Killed?
What a shame.
Yeah. My attention span got like murdered in like, I don't know, 2017 and never recovered.
I swear, watching Steven Universe, like that should have been a sign to me that what's it called? Everyone's attention span was fried because of how short the episodes are. They're too bite-sized and consumable. And I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a sign of the times. I
I
swear.
watched a bit of Adventure Time, but I never got to the part where it becomes like an properly ongoing narrative, so I haven't had really caught my interest yet.
Mm. Yeah, no,
It feels a little too loose for me right now to bite my teeth into.
I think I'm still there too. I am like literally on season like 3 or something because there's been multiple times where friends have like been like, please watch it. I'm like, okay, and then I go, and it's just like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of these episodes randomly. I'm sure I'll finish it at some point. I'm sure I will finish Adventure Time at some point. Fingers crossed. I don't know. I'm sorry, Pendleton Ward. I don't hate you. Okay.
All right. River, what have you been up to?
I've
Which arts have you
been consuming
put into your brain?
Nothing. Literally nothing. Okay.
I don't believe you.
Next time, maybe, hopefully this isn't the case, I will talk about JJK. But this time, there's an anime, Jujutsu Kaisen. That's short for JJK.
I know that.
This new
But
anime
nobody asked us.
is called Sonda. Oh my god, Sonda fans, rise up. I'm so in love with this freaking anime. It's so good.
Is it
So
Christmas themed? It has mistletoe.
it is, well, a little bit. If you I don't know if there's any giveaway
Is
on who
related to the Beastars creator?
Yes, can you tell? Can you tell?
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you know the Beastars animator or the mangaka and the anime, like there's like it's just like human versions of the animals, and if you like
Mhm.
consume the manga, it is just as scrungly as the Beastars anime, but they're humans, and it's so good.
Wangly.
Legoshi, Legoshi is just in the show in spirit. Yes, there's, uh, it starts off. I don't even want to give it away, but I guess I have to. Well, okay, let me give him a recommendation before I jump into any spoilers. This show is, if you've seen Beastars, very Beastars. It is a coming of age, which is cool, and it is very about like it. It is a lot of like themes of like finding yourself, like in a maturing way, like in sexually, but also it's they do this thing again where if you remember in Beastars, if you know anything about Beastars, they're in like a very special school, right? That puts the herbivores with the carnivores. And in this
Yes.
one, we're in the future. The year is 20 like 50 something, and there's a school that has basically the majority of children in the country there, and like the majority of children, the population has just gone to like nil, right? Because
Oh.
they just have a tiny little like they have a population issue in Japan of all
Mhm.
things. What a crazy fantasy
What a
idea.
foreign concept.
uh, and there's like special rules protecting the kids that if you are under the age of 15, basically you can get away with literally murder and be fine.
Oh.
It is interesting. It is a strange world, and they're in like a school that used to be a shopping center, but was converted into a school because the with the like declining population, um,
Mhm.
they're just like poor, so they're like, we don't need a shopping center. We don't have enough money. There's even like a place where one of the characters is like at a bar with their coworkers. It's an older guy, and he's at a
Mhm.
ramen cup bar because they're just like so poor. It's not even like a ramen shop. It's not like a restaurant. It's a ramen cup bar, and it's crazy. But okay, jumping into spoilers. Our titular character Sonda is Santa, is Santa Claus, incarnate. Uh, and I remember reading the first chapter of this like randomly because it was recommended by some like thing creator B stars, and it ends with big spoilers for the first chapter. Our main character getting stabbed, uh, and dying,
Oh.
and blood getting all over them. Who's this blonde kid in the front? Um, but whenever anything red touches them, they become Santa Claus. Uh, it is it is insane. It is an insane thing, and Santa is just like a
He
big
gets Santa powers.
yes, yes.
Santa virus.
He gets the Santa powers. He's a
He gets.
because he
Can he travel really quickly?
well okay. We don't know all of
Can
Santa's
he
powers
go
yet.
down people's chimneys?
So okay, this is crazy. He does have Santa powers. He what's it called? What is it? He's for some reason. Okay, I guess he's really athletic and strong because Santa has to, do a lot of present gifting. So he's just a big buff bar man. Uh, and he can like extrude sleigh blades from his heels in front of him, so he can like ski really fast. And he also uses them as like weapons, like blades.
Oh
Um,
God, no.
and we find out because one of the main characters is an insane person and she was 14, so she's allowed to just make bombs. She makes a bomb and it blows up. Like he protects people by grabbing it. It blows up, but he's immune to fire because he's Santa, and he needs to be immune to fire when he goes down chimneys so he doesn't burn himself. Uh,
Oh,
it's it's
I never thought about the fact that Santa Claus needs to be fireproof to do all his
me
shenanigans.
me neither. And there's like there's more
Makes
stuff,
sense.
huh?
It makes
It
sense.
makes too much. I love this author so much because she's just like she's so creative. I love it. She's ridiculous. Um, but a big thing is about like this country, Japan, being in a sad state. The kids are like raised in this weird way, which they get into more if you watch the show. And it's very like strict and strange. And the reason they need Santa, or the reason like Santa's mission is to make kids like happy and like protect the children. And it's like
Mhm.
it's pretty wholesome. Like the I say that, but it's not. There's like B stars level shit in this show. It's not for kids, but it's like the idea is Santa like has these powers to protect kids, and also Santa's like not a single person, I believe, because our main character is a descendant of Santa. He has Santa
Oh,
genes in him. Uh, so
Just Santa lineage.
yeah, so there's more than in my mind. I'm like thinking of like how Santa has Santa's helpers, right? So this is like one of Santa's helpers, like incarnate. Um, and later, I'm only 4 episodes in, and it's still airing. And I believe at the trajectory, I could look into this, but I don't want to. I think the way that it's airing, like the last episode of the season will air sometime around Christmas, which is genius
perfect.
and amazing. Um, I'm just happy that this like premise, after I had read it the first time, I was like, there's no way this has legs. But then as the like show kept going, I was like, this is kind of amazing. This is kind of
Now,
fantastic.
this really seems like one of
I'm
those
just
things where
imagining
the main
Hmm?
I just imagine Santa Claus would be really disappointed in this world because the idea like kids need to be like well behaved to get presents, and in this world like kids could get away with literal murder.
Yeah,
So they're just all on the naughty list, and he's just like, "What the hell?
that does come up.
Discipline all of you."
It's it's such an interesting like world that she wove. What were we saying, NeverPaint?
it just seems like one of those ideas that's like kind of audacious enough to like really be popular.
Hmm.
I
Some it's like a premise that could be summarized very well with like one line of like as a pitch, and that makes it, yeah, they can probably market this well.
there I was thinking that, but there is just too much stuff that is like too anime in this show.
Yeah.
I would say that's gonna prevent it from like getting big. Um,
So, River, you as a deer, is that why you like it so much?
you know what? I just looking at the screen, seeing Santa above me
You
with my
feel the
rainbow.
calling. You
I
feel the calling. You want to be reined. You want to be
maybe
reined in like a reindeer.
I want to help Santa slay. Yes, I want to. I'll put on the big red nose and guide him through the night.
Yes, Santa sleigh.
Santa, shit. Yes, Santa slay. Yes, I'm. I'm gonna kill you.
You can't. I'm all the way over here.
Uh, I'll deliver a present to you, or I won't because you're on the naughty list. Oh, also, yeah, there is Legoshi. Like, this author can't help but not make Legoshi. There's a girl who is insanely androgynous and like
Oh, I
very
see her on the right.
yeah, she's really tall for like her age.
It's
Mhm.
clearly
She's so
this one.
Legoshi. That's the one.
No,
She's a freak. She's a freak. We just they're all freaks. They're not all freaks, but she specifically is like also a like squirrel person. I say that just
Of
based off the
course.
looks. That you know what's funny? This character that I'm saying is Legoshi. Like she is so what is it? Um Nightmare Before Christmas coded.
oh, you have the bags under her eyes.
The bags under her eyes. Her hair is
Yeah,
like
she has
super
the tiny
cool
pupils,
and
the eye
pointy.
shape. Yeah, very burden.
Very burdened, a burdened person. It is there's still like things being revealed about the characters that I don't know, but it's like it's good. I've been having a good time. Highly recommend if you're an anime person. Also not for kids. If you're not a kid, don't watch it. It's a very good seinen, I think, is the genre. Was
How many children do you think are watching
too
this show
many.
right
Too
now?
many. None of them should
Okay.
be.
At least one.
There is romance. So We
Oh,
if that's your thing, it's great. It's been so good. I've been loving it. I'm only on like episode 4 though, I believe, or something. So yeah. That's what I've been watching. That's what I've been eating up lately, and it's been awesome. Y'all should watch it.
Heal.
Never
Okay.
paint. Never
Hello.
paint. What have you been doing? What you been eating?
I've been eating literature.
Book reader. Book alert.
Yes.
looks
Yes.
Oh wait, you recommended these
I
to me.
did I?
Yeah, and then you
Oh,
told me to like
I
get
guess I
them in
did.
audiobook form, I think.
Oh, all right, all right. Well, yeah, I've been getting a little bit back to my roots and trying to read books again,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like I mentioned before, my attention span has been in the dumpster, and I'm trying to build it up again by, healthy habits, uh, making myself be bored, aka reading a whole book, um, which is not boring, but like it feels like it feels so much more exciting to look at your phone or even watch a TV show than reading a book. So I've been picking up this little series called, well, the first book that I finished is called Scythe, and the whole series has an amazing name, which I want the whole world to appreciate for the genius idea that it is.
Uh-huh.
This whole book series is called Arc of the Scythe.
Okay. Arc of the Scythe.
Like a narrative arc, but also like the arc that a scythe makes when it scythes. It's
I don't
they
get
did
it.
something there. I think it's cool.
Okay.
I think it's neat.
So it's about gardening?
Yes. No, it's about death.
What?
Like Grim Reapers, basically.
That's not what
They
scythes are used for, though.
no. There's also no actual scythes in this book. They are all
What?
symbolic.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It has been pitched to me as a dystopian YA series, akin to like the Hunger Games
Mm-hmm.
and things of the like. And it's kind of like that. But what I appreciate most, I think, is that it's a very, let's say, subtle dystopia, or almost like a utopia, where it's hard to tell throughout the whole story. Like, I would say for me, it would be hard to think about if I would want this world to exist or not. And
Hmm.
it's giving me cool inspiration for world building and for, I guess, simple ideas being executed in very fun and interesting ways. So just to summarize the premise really quickly, this takes place in a world where we have reached, what do you call it, the technological breakthrough that basically made an AI that is like a real AI, not like the fake LLM bullshit that we have nowadays, but a
Right.
real AI that is able to fix all of humanity's problems. The technological singularity, that's what you call it. And basically the world has been completely fixed. There's world peace. There's no climate change has been fixed. Everything's fine. Everyone lives in the perfect world. And also, crucially, we have overcome death and illness.
Oh.
Like, you don't have to die anymore because there's nanites in your body that just fix you up. And you still age, but you can get your body like biologically reset to an earlier age at any point. I'm pretty sure it's even free.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
so that's pretty neat. So there are people that just live for hundreds of years, and it's basically like they don't have to work anymore. Really, they do work. They have occupations, but that's more like to keep the mind busy, or they do artistic things. There's like teenagers who like kill themselves for fun. Just like
so wait, you just come back to life, or you just what happens?
Yes, basically any injury is fixable.
Is it just in your system, or do you like go to a place and they like
It's in your system, but you're also just getting picked up by a drone when you like die too badly.
okay, and they just like put you in on a bed until you're fixed or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and there's no governments or anything. The whole world is like controlled by this supercomputer called the Thunderdome or Thunderhead, I think, because it was born from the cloud, which is like completely like egalitarian, completely only interested in serving humanity, is not evil at all. So far, for real, as far as I can tell. I have read like a book and a half of this 4-book series. Well, anyways, yeah, so everyone can't die.
Okay.
But however, you can't overpopulate the planet too much. So death is still a thing, and there's a specific like caste of people who is legally allowed and obligated to kill, which are called the scythes. So they glean the population. They have a quota. They have a yearly quota of people they have to kill, and basically have different methods on choosing who gets to die.
Okay. So do we
So
follow this
there's nothing much
organization?
special. They just choose people who don't get healed or revived.
So how does the story play out? Is it like a Black Mirror-esque kind of thingy where you like follow these different stories, or is it like we follow a person who is in this
We
organization?
follow like two young people who get apprenticed as like by a scythe, who are supposed to become scythes, and yeah, they have very different outlooks on things. And the most interesting thing about the story to me is how like just the plurality of different ideas on how things are supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's very simple idea. In the beginning, the first scythe you
Whoa.
meet.
Hold
Hmm?
on. I think we just got hit with ads.
Oh,
You may want to hold that
let's
for
do
just a second.
an ad right now for the people who pay for being ad free, so that they also get punished equally.
No.
Uh,
What's something that we advertise? What's our sponsor? Fuck.
commission all of us.
Yes.
My commissions are not open. Commission Asha and NeverPaint right
Yes, you can always
Commission
commission me.
mainly Asha, because I'm super busy, but we have a shared bank account, so
now.
it's fine.
Hey!
There you go.
Not
Those
shared
Christmas
PayPal
gifts
though.
for me. Yeah,
It's
true.
not shared
Okay.
PayPal though, so send that my way.
Okay, fair. I'm sorry.
Let me see. It should only be 60 seconds, so we should be good soon. I forgot to put y'all's at in the title. This will be dealt with next time. Let's see. Is it going? I'm not sure. Oh, have you? Here, we'll just talk about the side thing more. Is there any fan art on Tumblr yet of the young people who? What's it called?
Probably.
You think so?
Probably. I've seen fan art, I think.
When you talked about the characters that are being apprenticed, that's like where it makes sense that it's a YA, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
my teacher is death incarnate. Oh, I'm learning to become a
Well, they're not
scythe."
actually deaf and con, they're just normal people.
Yeah, but they kill, and it's edgy with the edge of their blade.
They do kill. It's kind of funny how, like, what I meant to say with the plurality is that, like, the first scythe they meet, the teacher, he has like a method where he chooses people who die based on statistics from the age of mortality.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying like, oh, you're 16 years old, you just got a car, and statistically, back when people could still die, such and such percent of 16-year-olds with cars got into deadly car accidents. So I choose you today.
Oh.
And stuff like that. But that's only,
Okay.
and I thought in the beginning, oh, interesting, that's how this scythe stuff works. But that's only his method. And every scythe, and that's a special thing, the scythes have kind of their own, they're above the law, they have their own rules and a lot of individuality. and each of them has their own philosophy on how to choose the gleanings.
Gleaning, is that what they
And
call it? Whoops.
they call it a gleaning, yeah.
What's the funniest death? Is there a death that's like just does funny killings?
Well, there are people, scythes, who are straight up evil.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Who have the philosophy of, yeah, we just want to like kill people in the most enjoyable way for us.
Oh, okay. So like sadists.
Yeah, but you know, they have like a weird like death worship, and they're like, oh no, death is a beautiful thing, we should celebrate it. Yeah, there are pretty clear like moral, like more moral and less moral scythes on that side. Structurally, I think the book is very interesting in the sense that it's interspersed with quotes from diaries, a lot of it, because all the scythes have to like keep a diary, and at the beginning of each chapter, there's like a whole page of diary entry from some famous scythe, and kind of philosophizing about the themes of the current chapter, or giving some more world building insight. And I think it's cool when books use the fact that they can be a medium where you can just insert random text parts outside of the narrative to further the world. Yeah. So like having like a intermedia thing going on. We're not just reading a story, we're also reading media from the story at the same time. Yeah.
So, would this be a good book club thing? Or would the neighborhood moms be upset with me if I brought this one?
I think it will be good.
Think it'd be good?
Yeah.
You think the neighborhood moms want to read a bunch of YA? Maybe. Hunger Games is really good for mom book club, actually.
It has like very little YA tropes in it, I feel like.
Oh, did the person who recommended it to you, they were like, NeverPaint is young. They'll like YA.
No.
No?
No, it was a teacher colleague, so they recommended in the context of something you could read with students.
Oh, okay, I see.
Language is rather simple, and the books are not that long, so that's definitely the case.
I see. Okay. That makes sense then. I need to listen to audiobooks. I downloaded so many audiobooks from Audible, and I downloaded like I think 3 from this series after you recommended it. How
Nice.
far are you? Are you just in the first book still?
I'm in a book and a half in, roughly.
Okay.
I think the first 3 books are a trilogy, and the 4th one is like an anthology thing that builds upon it.
Okay. So stop after the 3rd one, is what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
Depends on how much you like it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just remembered. Well, I know we have a sacred rule of not talking about other media, but I have a question for you.
No!
Okay, I won't do it. Well,
no, you can do it.
Kim Wexler. What's going on with her?
Oh yeah, the Kim Wexler show. It's good. It's called Pluribus. Go watch it, everybody. It's on Apple or your pirating site of choice.
Can we get Apple to sponsor so we have a code? Let's get a code from Apple, please. Thank you.
If you like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, the guy who made both of them made a 3rd one. It has nothing to do with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, but Kim from Better Call Saul is in it. Its main character. She's one of the only characters. There's like barely any characters in the show, kind of.
Really?
Related to spoilers. I can't talk much about the show because it's like so spoiler intensive.
So the TV show about Kim Wexler is like, what if there was a TV show of the show that Kim Wexler was from?
No.
Okay. I see. Oh, is a what if? Well, I don't know. Actually, I have no idea what the context is here. Any like story that comes out of that universe though, that is live action and not the cartoon that was a spin-off that was weird, is always good though. Like just knowing that it exists in that world just makes it better for me specifically. And I feel like it's the only like universe where I feel that way because there are like lots of other shows and universes that don't, like, it's not a good thing that they keep tacking things on, but I feel like Breaking Bad has yet to fail in that regard. Like everything they add is
Uh,
good.
I think there were parts of Better Call Saul which I could give or take. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, fair enough. I really liked Mike
I
though. Like,
think Better Call Saul totally fell into the hole of we have to over explain every single character in Breaking Bad
I
and
liked
give
it.
them
I look.
all too
I
much
I know.
backstory.
I know that there were like just extensions of Breaking Bad in Better Call Saul that never really tied that well to Better Call Saul's story. But
Yeah.
it was good though. It was just a Breaking Bad
There was like a
expansion
whole
pack.
2 seasons where like the drug cartel plot and the lawyer plot barely interacted.
Yeah, yeah, and I liked them both. I was watching two shows for one. I'm greedy, and it was great. It was like I don't know. I liked Mike. I liked following Mike. I liked following oh, what's his name? The guy. Spoilers. Who dies? People die in that series. Um, I liked him, but I know people were like, "I'm done with Breaking Bad. I just want to watch Better Call Saul." I guess it helps that I just had finished Breaking Bad and then started Better Call Saul, like as Better Call Saul was coming out.
Oh yeah. Give and take says it's very good. She's an author that writes trashy sex fantasy books. Yes, I thought that was
Nice.
really funny. That was a really funny thing because I feel like you don't see that a lot in media represented of like writing like these kind of like romantasy, but maybe a bit for an older audience.
Like, is it the
Uh,
kind of books where it's like a buff cowboy on the front with a shirt off?
yeah, but it's a pirate.
It's a pirate. It's a buff pirate. Oh,
Yes,
did I
and
tell
it
you?
ties into the plot a lot actually. Um,
Really? What? Oh, this is good. I will like this then.
it's also without too many spoilers.
Uh huh.
It's a season 2 Rick and Morty episode that got turned into a TV show.
Oh, oh. So it's. I think I understand more what you're saying. I have to look at this out of just morbid
Yeah,
curiosity. Hopefully, it's
it's a
really good.
weird sci-fi thing, and it's fun.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
There's only like 3 episodes out, I think, so far.
Can I tell you the story of the time I went to a random convention in a small warehouse in Texas, and one of the booths was a gay man selling their gay pirate story, and I wish
You
I
can just say
recorded
pirate,
their
actually.
pitch. That's true. I wish I recorded their pitch because they like were like talking about their buck swashling their swashbuckling tale and like how gay it was and fantastical it was, and it rhymed, and it is so long ago, and I was like enthralled by their pitch. Like they stood up, they like handed me a pamphlet, they were dressed as a pirate. It was awesome. I don't see that much pirate homoerotica. As much as I see like cowboys. Maybe it's where I'm from. Because when I go to Hobby Lobby, I see so many cowboys. Maybe not homoerotica, but like buff cowboys, romance novels. Is that a
I think
section in your bookstore? Because that is just a full section in Hobby Lobby.
not as much, really.
It's always next to the manga for some reason.
No, not really here.
I see.
Have you seen the gay pirate show by the New Zealand guy? I forgot his name, but damn it,
The
the
what?
one who made Jojo Rabbit, uh, and What We Do in the Shadows. What's the name? Asha.
Oh,
Asha, you still around?
Yeah.
what we do
Hi.
in the
What's the name
shadows.
of the gay pirate show we like?
Uh, our flag means death.
Oh yeah, right.
I've not seen this
You
one.
should
I've heard this one, but
you
I've
should
not seen
watch
it.
that.
Okay. I
It's one
need.
of those shows that was a little too good and thus got
Yeah.
cancelled by its network like twice.
Dang. Rip. Do I need to consume more pirate media just in general? Should I watch One Piece finally?
Maybe.
I think that's in your own
Well,
power.
Well, that's a big commitment. It's like having a child.
Yeah, that's how I feel,
You think
really.
so? Well,
You
it
can't
And you
just
can
seems.
stop.
only do one of the two, by the
Chapter
way.
one.
Like you can't have a child and read One Piece in your life.
Well, the thing is,
Not with that attitude.
it seems like I need to be reading One Piece because everyone seems to be talking about One Piece lately in like these random quote unquote what should I call them? Music festivals, protests all over the world. People just
Oh.
love One Piece right now. It keeps coming up. So maybe I'll read it. I will not. No, actually, I'll read it. I don't think I'll watch it. If I do consume it, I'm gonna read it because I can't. I don't want to sit through the anime and take forever, take too long, and I'm too lazy.
Hey, speaking of taking too long, want to talk about art
Yeah, I love
a
doing that. It
little?
takes forever.
What the fuck, River? What have you drawn?
I have not been able to draw all that much because I recently, like I said earlier, got a new like work schedule, which has been great, honestly, but it's been more work, which has not been great. So what I've been able to like draw lately, or is mostly been on paper. Um, I have had a commission that I need to finish, and then I will feel more comfortable moving forward in bigger stuff. But right now, in my free time, go to cafes, and I've realized something like two things. One, I'm really a fan of drawing deers. Big surprise. Deers, kind of cool, kind of great. You ever seen that video where the deer eats the bird? That's crazy.
I've
Um,
never heard of such a thing.
me, me neither. Uh, but I've been doing this thing recently. I realize because like I don't know if this is like a problem for y'all. It's a problem for me. I hate filling in pages of paper. So what I keep doing is filling in the top left corner with a doodle or a drawing, and then it's just blank. So I have like multiple pages where it's just like a drawing that I did, and it's just sitting on the top left of a bunch of my pages. I feel like I could make, I don't know, like a left-handed book or something out of them, an art book, which is
I
just on that corner is where all the art is.
I feel like I can't really relate because I don't really like draw on individual pages of paper.
Yeah.
Like I would probably draw on a sketchbook instead.
Yeah, well, I have sketchbooks, you know. I also have sketchbooks that I draw in, but like I just noticed recently that I have multiple papers where I'm doing this thing where it looks kind of like a stamp in the corner.
Is that why you have this page where there's that one drawing you made a super long time ago and
Yes.
also other things?
Yes. These are just like three things, but like what I have been doing in my free time while I go to a cafe, while I hang out, is draw deers, cutesy deers. I'm actually pretty proud of that like thing on the left that you're looking at. Now show
The
the
row of
cow. That's
gears.
an insane thing you just said, Avenge underscore. I am not showing the cow. um Jesus. Uh the what's it called? Yeah, I've been just like feeling animals lately. Something about them. But I'm torn. I'm torn because I still want to do things with not animals. I like Beastars too much, and I want to draw animals and not animals. I need to learn that author's name because she's kind of the goat. I think she should not be a chicken. She should be a goat because she is the goat, and I love her. Um, she's been a huge inspo lately. Cause her, let's see, I don't know. Her designs are so scrungly, but they're so perfect. Ugh, I should have got more examples of them.
I
Uh,
really like the little patterns you put on the between the deer and on the deer.
Thank you. Literally, I was asking for a prompt, um, of like what to draw, and I was given deer in nature, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna draw a deer in nature, and then I was like, what if I made them like a rat king instead? And they were
Oh,
all
that's what that is. I thought they were like just all jumping from the same place. They're actually like conjointed
ki-
deer.
um, death of the author. You can like
Okay.
interpret it how you will. I was just like making shapes, making deer shapes, and it felt good. But
Oh yeah.
aside from this, I have also been trying to practice my storyboarding, and which I'm not going to show because it's like kind of gives away the story of what I'm storyboarding. But I'm
Oh
trying
yeah.
to like not I have this bad habit of like trying to render every drawing I start, and I just need to like be better about just putting down sketches and ideas very quickly. So I've been like working on storyboards lately because there's like bigger projects I want to do in the future, and I have to like plan out better because I have like way less time lately. Uh, but yeah, I've been I've been doodling when I can, honestly. I've also actually been doodling at work. I shouldn't do that because I have just been drawing pom pom like on stuff at work when I'm like doing training.
Well,
Uh,
they're never gonna find out where pom pom's from because you don't write the name pom pom and add noodle slash RiverDoe somewhere on social media next to it, right?
yeah, haha.
They're never gonna figure it out. It's fine. You'll
Yeah,
be safe.
they'll never know. Haha.
Speaking of, I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you want to talk about it here, but
Hmm.
what is right now you have two social medias on Blue Sky, for example, for both your Noodle Bomb and RiverDoe. Are you gonna keep using them both, or
For the
do you
time
wanna?
being, I'm just using Noodle Bomb as like a platform to help like push stuff, but I do want to
Oh,
grow RiverDoe. I want that to become the main essentially.
okay.
Um, but I've unfortunately, like I said, not had a lot of time. I will be
Yeah, makes sense.
I will be gutting and stealing everything from Noodle Bomb and putting it into RiverDoe though. All my OCs are still mine. I own them. Uh, but yeah, I haven't been able to like do anything for social media, and I've just been like, I don't know. In the past, I would scramble a lot more to push it, but now it's like, I'll do things as I have time. I'll make stuff as I can, and
Yeah,
I'm been more at peace about that lately.
you gotta find time to do it in a healthy, sustainable way.
Yeah,
Because art is food.
yeah, yes, food for the soul. But yeah, it
Asha,
takes time. Asha,
Asha,
Yeah.
hi.
Hi.
Do you want to talk about art?
Well, I've been having just a bit of trouble because I've been making. I feel like most of the year I've been making things for other people,
mm-hmm.
and now I'm just kind of re-exploring what I like about art and looking back at my old work and like thinking about what I like in media.
Mm, mm-mm. So you've been doing
Any
commission stuff for
conclusions
people?
so far?
Huh?
That was two questions at once, sorry.
You go first.
Any conclusions so far?
Uh, not nothing exactly. It's just drawing things I like, trying to make art more swooshy in the line art.
Swooshy, yo.
Yeah, dramatic lines,
You
curvy.
know, like 2018, 2019, Asha in the AM. Uh, Asha does art.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I remember
Now
those days.
we've been just looking through Asha's old Tumblr together last 2 days, and like just noticed, like, first of all, of course, lots and lots of improvement, but also like a certain like swooshiness that like got lost a little bit with um basically you getting better at structuring anatomy and like making more clear lines, which is I think probably a natural like development to like kind of lose the loose and freeness of that type of art that you had before.
Mm.
Mm. I feel that.
I'm sure it's something you can recapture.
That's like, yeah, you start refining things a whole lot, and then it starts getting a little too clean, maybe, in to your eye as the like artist. I do like feel that too with like my old OC drawings because I feel like they were more loose because I wasn't like thinking about certain things. Yeah, I think I sort of relate to that. But
I
yeah,
mean,
yours, Asha's art definitely had an especially swooshy like trait to it.
It still does a lot, but yeah.
Have you been like able to do any art like while you're out and about as of late?
Well, the mostly doing is like doodling a little bit in my tiny sketchbook during breaks in class. I'm
Nice.
currently going to like language school right now,
Mhm.
learning German, specifically for preparing for like doing training for a job.
So I'm sure you're pretty preoccupied with that right now.
Yeah, not too occupied, but like I just have to learn to make time for art every day.
I wish I could even say that for myself. I'm not drawing every day. Um, I need to do that again. I don't know if
Girl, same.
for real. I had this idea that I was gonna do it like I would come home right after work and like do art, but like my work has got me kind of like literally physically exhausted because I'm like 7 hours of just straight up work. I'm doing the thing though too where I come home and I I don't draw nearly as much at home. I just like sleep. I need to like find a place to draw because like I'm either home sleeping or like playing video or something or like being on a call with somebody. It's like my hangout space, you know.
Yeah.
Bah. Bah,
So
bah.
you need like just maybe separate a space that is specifically for working on art. You mean?
Yeah, you know the thing is, those things that I posted actually, I sketched all of those not at home. I sketched like the Lilith at Hobby Lobby. I sketched the deer that I did like a full drawing of later, like at my girlfriend's place, and I drew that deer like at another cafe. And it's like I realize that's like a probably the best process for me is I'm somewhere else, I sketch out the thing, and then I come home and I can like clean it up on my computer, you know?
Hmm.
At least for the process of like drawing an illustration. I'm still a slave to traditional. I want to go back to traditional. I always say this. I want to go fully traditional if I could, but it's hard. But it's hard and I'm scared.
Yeah, I still dream a bit of the perfect way to balance things, like especially space wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think I improved a lot of things with my new workspace. However, it's not quite perfect yet because we don't have a TV in our living room yet. So I still like play video games and watch TV shows and stuff on this computer that I'm also doing my work on and also doing my artwork on.
Hmm.
And that's just too many things on one place for me.
Mm-hmm.
It just
That
gets a little crowded. It crowds my brain with too many possibilities.
it's true. I dream of getting the second computer that has nothing but drawing program on it. No Discord, no video game,
Yeah,
just drawing stuff.
yeah. I mean, for me, it would just be like instead of that, I kind of think sometimes maybe I just need like a laptop where I have all my work stuff on
Hmm.
it, so I don't have to, you know. I still want Discord on my art thing because I like talking to people while drawing, but uh, yeah, just the mix of work and artwork is a little annoying.
Yeah. What
Wait.
NeverPaint
Anyways, art.
art stuff you've been up to? Yeah, what art stuff have you been up to?
Uh, well, I've been doing different things here and there. I've been posting and like making and posting more sketchy stuff, um, which we had a little vacation a few weeks ago with visiting some friends, and I used that opportunity to draw a lot because we didn't want to like do too many things. We wanted to chill a lot, and I wanted to draw. And I came up with some fun world building concepts. I don't really want to go too much into here because they're supposed to be for a story. Um,
Okay.
but I've made a few pages of these are kinds of like creature ideas and things like that. Like which is all gonna play into my Draconic Drugstore comic world, which is something I want to get more serious about. I've made
Yeah.
like, how many comics have I made? Like 5 or 6 short little comics over the last 2 years almost. It's not a lot.
Wasn't it
Not a lot of
was
comic to go around.
it wasn't your like school thesis or something that you were doing that for? Question mark.
Oh, yeah, but that wasn't the comic. That was like just the illustration of these little basically the Draconic Drugstore itself, the building, and illustrating all the different rooms and like coming up with that. That was that was a university project even more years ago. But in, I think, winter 2024, like February 2024, I started with that first little comic of Draconic Drugstore, and I've made only a few since. The idea was to make them very short, very like episodic, so I can just put them out whenever without too much complex storyline planning. But this hasn't actually led to me making more of them. So yeah, I do want to like do a bit more in that direction, and I've come up with some fun concepts, some fun creature concepts I want to include.
I'm so invested. I'd love to see more. The world is real to me, and the
Yay.
characters are real. So I can't
It,
wait for you to get onto more of it.
I can't believe how little of the characters I've drawn at all, because all of the comics feature 2 of my characters, Rosie and Mina, and like some side characters, customers at the drugstore and stuff. But there's like a core cast of 5 characters and some secondary characters that are pretty important to me. And of these 5 characters, I've only drawn 3 a bunch of times. 2 I've only drawn once ever. And they're pretty important. So I'm very much in the early stages still. But yeah, I wanna figure things out.
Well, heck yeah.
Secondarily, and kind of related to that, I've been doing what I call breakfast sketching. I only
Yo,
did like a few days, but I just made a little stack of paper near our kitchen table, and while I was eating breakfast, I was just making a little sketch of a character. Completely loosey goosey, no reference, no nothing, just figuring things out. Yeah. And it's not a lot, it doesn't take a long time, but it makes me feel productive and gives me like the art, it satisfies the art urge a little bit. It gives me a happy start into the day.
how
So
long do you spend on these ones? Like a couple
less than
minutes.
5 minutes.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're so fast. You put down so much detail
Mm,
quickly. At least compared to me, it feels like.
eh, well, depends on what I'm drawing and how I'm drawing it.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to figure out anything I haven't made before, it takes me many hours.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, I would come up with a design like this and it would take me, I just would like take at least like 30 minutes of just like deciding every little feature. I don't
No,
know.
that's the point. You're not
Yeah.
deciding anything. You're just like, you know, okay, art and food metaphor, when you
Okay.
make breakfast, in the morning, you don't have time to like figure out, oh, the perfect spice mix, or the perfect time to or like cooking something complex and making sure that it has a good sauce. You don't have to make the spread that you put on your bread yourself, just get simple things, simple ingredients that are sustainable and that you can use every morning. um, as you can see, both of these characters have the same halo kind of design. So I didn't have to come up with that again. And like this, these sketches are like as simple as my breakfast is.
Okay, and that's why they call it breakfast, because it's fast.
No, it's because you're breaking the fast.
Yeah, you're going at breakneck speed.
No. Even though that one angel kind of looks like she's breaking her neck a little bit, turning around.
Oh, is she turning around? Oh, I see.
The left one it's not very well drawn. Like I said,
Yeah.
less than 5 minutes.
I like that. Hydrate. I have to hydrate. We all have to hydrate. I need to turn this off for this type of stream. This isn't a me stream. It's a group stream. Sorry. I drank coffee. Is coffee hydrating? Surely.
No.
Okay, I'll drink water. Actually, wait, I have water right here. Let's go. Hold on. I was ready. Okay. I I like that idea. I should incorporate this too. This is like one of those things where it's like I should do that. I should do morning workouts. Um, there's like artists who like have been doing daily sketches of the same character for like years now, and they're like on day. There's like this guy, I think his name's Andre. I forget the artist, but he's been drawing the same cat girl OC for like almost like over 1,000 days, right? And it's like the design is made, and it's just a matter of drawing that character. And I like that. I need to like I should do that too because I'm so this is like a me fighting perfectionism. I hate drawing things and it like is broken, then I have to like fix the picture. But it's like no, just put it down the lines and just move on. You know.
Yeah, it's I mean, if you actually want to make like a long running comic or like a bigger project or something, like you're an animator, right? Like you gotta do it anyways in animation. You just gotta get over kind of bad frames or like
Yeah.
bad panels.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's what revisions are for. I am an animator. I forget. It's been a while.
Or you just don't revise.
True.
Fine anyways.
Just get it right the first time. You're so right. Just make it right.
No. I mean, like it doesn't have to be always perfect.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think the like time crunch that I've been living in lately has been making me feel just like let go of the perfectionism just a bit more.
Yeah.
It is a curse, though. It is a curse. But speaking of perfect, speaking of perfect, we have some perfect entries for hashtag Sketch with us this week that we want to share today.
And since we're talking about perfect, we should first talk about this beautiful drawing.
Alley-oop, NeverPaint. That was sick. Is that perfect? Hold on. It's not. You got that? It's not perfect failure.
I see the rabbit.
Okay.
A pristine little landscape, probably somewhere in Norway. And a dark creature lurking in the waters.
Little spooky creature. I love nature. I'm a deer.
Wait, reminder. This is from hashtag Sketch with Us. You can use the hashtag Sketch with Us to sketch with us or with yourself, and then we talk about it a little bit. Yeah. Posted somewhere.
This is from
@See the Rabbit, cool comic artist who makes that comic about that Disney character that's now public domain. I think his name is Oswald.
Oswald the Rabbit.
Correctly. Oh yeah, Oswald the Rabbit. Yeah, the Rabbit is making a whole ass comic about Oswald the Rabbit.
Oh wait, what about Steamboat Willie?
I don't know if that's a character that's featured in the same universe.
It's public domain, so it's in the public domain universe.
I know it's also public domain. Yeah.
Yeah, Rabbit, friend of the show. Very, very comic style, very European comic style. Oh, I'm so happy. I have a sketch. I'm gonna brag. I have a sketch from Rabbit in my sketchbook that I carry around that says, "Wow, America," and but I have a picture of it looking up, and there's a Waffle House in the background. But the way I wish I could transform tool the drawing, because the way the drawing is facing makes it really hard to get a good picture of the Waffle House in the background in my sketchbook.
You have to rip it out of the sketchbook and hold it up as a separate page.
I have other drawings in there though from other people.
Just edit it in.
Just edit it?
Yeah, Photoshop.
You know what? That's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that.
Yay.
One thing I really like about this drawing is the vegetation. It feels very physical, very real, and at the same time you can really tell the like graphic, the the lines, the way the pen or like the ink worked over the page, especially with the grass plants and the water.
Yeah, it's very graphic novel. It reminds me of Bone, which I haven't read, but it like gives me that like style era vibe, if you know what I'm talking about. If anyone who's heard the comic Bone, very classic
Somebody
graphic
must
novel.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. What is this creature? I want. I'll have to leave a comment for Rabbit, but I need to know the story behind this creature. This is probably in like their universe, in their comic.
Mhm.
I'm thinking it's probably a very friendly person.
Yeah, I'd go up to that thing.
Aw.
I'd pet it on the head. It wouldn't
It's just
hurt a
a
little old deer.
dark little blobber.
Blubber. Blubber.
The eyes are too far apart to be threatening. Like those eyes are so far apart that it's like prey. It has to look towards like both sides of the body.
Aren't crocodiles'
So
eyes pretty far apart though?
oh yeah, never mind then.
This thing's too fuzzy to be a crocodile though.
True. Also, they don't have crocodiles in Norway.
They don't?
No way. No.
Norway.
Speaking of
No way.
no, there's no thing perfect except the art of the perfect failure,
Yay.
aka Ollie, ringmaster of the gym in the Sketchy People Plaza.
Yes, our gym master.
Who have also sent us a little sketch with us of two other silly little guys.
And it says tour guide on the thing, so I'm assuming the person on the left is a tour guide, because I know the person on the right is a jester, and they would never guide a tour, surely.
And they also have a little question mark that's jester colored over the head.
I know that our friend
Also,
Ollie...
tour guide has a map.
Is that a map? Oh, it is a map.
That's a map.
That was like a little
Clear.
key for some reason.
Or a salt shaker.
Or a napkin.
True.
The way that this is cropped has left it very ambiguous. And I'm going to say that's on purpose. I know
Also
that...
a comic panel.
Yeah, Ollie has been doing comics as well and been posting comics.
Right.
So this looks like it's got to be for like a comic, right? Question mark. Probably. There's been good Ghost Ollie comic lately.
Yeah. Wait, what's it called? Ghost of a thing?
Ghost of a
Dang it.
Boss.
Ghost of a chance? I forgot.
Ghost of,
Ghost
yep,
of a
that's it.
Boss.
Ghost of a Chance.
Ghost of a chance. Hey.
Has been of a ghost. Let's see. And yeah, Ollie's been making, what's it called? Taking these OCs and making them real Cs, real characters. Are they OCs if you actually make a comic? This is like a conundrum in my
Yes.
brain. Yeah? Are they still
Yeah.
OCs though? Because I feel like,
They're still your OCs.
I guess so. If you get your OC published, do they just start being characters? I need to know-
Sherlock Holmes is an OC.
Is he?
Characters are OCs. All characters are
All
OCs.
characters?
Yes.
Zeus?
Yes.
Okay. It's like a square is a triangle. But also a character. Okay. I don't know. This is like, I remember when I started calling my characters OCs, it was like I was so reluctant to do it because it was back when I did think of OCs as like recolors of Sonic. And strictly that from DeviantArt. But like language evolves and there's like a million, no, and a lot of people use OCs more loosely and better. IMO.
You know, that's an option of there not being anyone's OC if it's like something that was made by committee or something. by like multiple people working together on a character, then it's their OC, but it's no one particular's OC. Yeah, very cute sketch, Ollie. I'm looking forward to seeing where the tour guide will lead us.
Yeah. Oh, this jester is
Good
not
expressions,
asleep.
as always.
Yes. I love to see the cute little Ollie characters. I want to pinch their cheeks every time I see them.
Pinch that cheek, shove them in a locker.
Yeah, give them a swirly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already know. They're very cute. And if you want to share your art that you're working on, artist viewing this in the future or right now, remember to use hashtag sketch with us on Blue Sky. That's mostly where we are, but if you want to do it on Twitter, Instagram, that's fine too. And we will see them.
Tumblr.
Oh yeah, Tumblr. I need to get on Tumblr. What am I doing? Drop them there, and we will have them ready for next time, whenever that is.
Probably in a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Can we do it in 2 weeks this time? I think we could.
I think we can. I'll try to be. In fact, I was ready last time.
Right, I was sick.
As long as can you be healthy? I will send you healthy vibes. It's.
If
I don't
I'm
think it's
sick
your
again
choice.
in 2 weeks, I'm literally gonna like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's something in your control.
No, I'm gonna like do something.
You gonna do something drastic?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna ask people to look at my blood and tell me what's wrong with me.
They're probably gonna be like, "You're a teacher.
No.
You're surrounded by germs."
Yeah.
Okay, gamers.
Alright.
We did it. We got it in under 1 hour. 1 hour perfectly, actually. If you look at the timer, good job.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were lying. I thought you were not lying, and I was just being wrong.
I'm a good actress.
I thought we started super late compared to what we said.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can check the time. We'll count it from the time we got rid of the starting soon screen. Maybe we did get it in an hour actually.
Hey, how about we drag it out now so long that it will actually be like exactly 24 hours from now, so or like a bit less, like 23 and a half, so that we actually end at the right time, but tomorrow.
Oh, that's 20. Okay.
NeverPaint? No.
It's a good idea.
I have to go to work for like a while in between, and Asha has to go to language school, but like, I mean,
we'll just have
you've streamed on your own before, so you can probably keep the conversation going.
Maybe. Let's do it relay race style, like whenever.
Danger of falling asleep, please.
That's fine, Asha. Just take a break. I'll wake you up in a bit.
If I would oblige this if I didn't have to use a little deer's room pretty soon. So I think we're gonna have to call it. We'll do the 24-hour stream some other time. Don't quote me on that, anybody.
No, we won't be told for that now. We had the opportunity years ago.
Oh gosh, imagine doing a 24-hour stream. What a funny, silly idea. Haha.
I would never even talk to anyone who attempted that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Ugh, memories.
I did that on iCarly.
You did what?
On an episode Carly.
They did?
On iCarly?
Yeah, they attempted to do the world record, a 24-hour stream.
That's crazy.
The world record.
And they failed because the internet broke.
Oh, that sucks.
It was all right because they broke a different record, something involving sculptures, because they were making a sculpture during the stream at one point.
Well, oh, that's art. Okay, you've tied it back to art. We can do that next time. We'll make a giant sculpture. Yeah. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's talk about iCarly next time.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Remember to drop hashtag sketch with us, gamers. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Wait, were there any voicemails today?
Oh, check for voicemails. Okay, no
We don't
voicemails.
even have a thing for that.
We don't. But we miraculously got one
Sometimes
last
they
time.
just appear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, bye bye. Ending stream.
Tschüssi.